Hi everyone, this is Ida with Created to Create. I have a project share. I actually came up with a new way to make those little, hopefully I'm going to stay in frame. I'm trying to watch guys. Um, to make those little tea sachets that I make. Uh, and I do have a video already on how I make these. The only difference here is I did the tops different, and I'm going to share with you. And I actually like this way better than the other way, so that's why I wanted to share it with you, because I really like the way these came out. Before, when I did them in the past, all I did was would fold over the fabric and then add my ribbon and stuff like that. And then as I was playing, I just got a strip of paper and I cut it out and I kind of put it on the edge. And I thought that was okay. And I liked it better than the first one. But then I thought this can be better. So I was sitting around thinking, and I remembered I had this punch, and a lot of you hauled it from Hobby Lobby. Um, I don't know if they still have it. If I find it on Amazon, I will link it. I'm not sure if Hobby Lobby has it anymore, but I did pick mine up at Hobby Lobby. So anyway, I'm going to share with you how I make those, but I did want to share with you how pretty they look. I'll show you the back because it's easier to see the back when it's not decorated in the front, but there's the back and there's the front. Look at how pretty that is. They ended up really, really cute, and I want to share with you how I make these, and the process will be the same as in the beginning. Look at that. Look at how pretty they are. It's going to be the same as in the other video, except we're going to do it a little different to top it off. So I'm going to remove all this stuff. I'm actually finally, guys, done with my boxes for the swap with a craft purge, and it was challenging for me because I will repeat something again, but I don't like to mass produce something back to back to back like I had to do in this swap, because like I said, I wanted to send Tony one, but and then I had to make three. So when I do something repetitively back to back to back, I kind of get bored with it, and it's a challenge for me. I struggle with that because I get bored and I just walk away from it. But finally, they're all done. The only difference in my boxes are the desserts that are here, because like I said, my friend Ginger is the one who sends them to me, and I didn't have four of the same, but I did have different ones, so I added them, and look at how pretty they are. There is another one. I had two of these, so I was able to do two of these. And then I had only one of this little pink, little bunt meringue or whatever it happens to me. But I was able to finish all four boxes, and I am so happy that they're done. And I'm not done with my little photo albums, but one of them is completed, and then I just need to work on do a lot of die cutting for the other three. But what I wanted to share with you is the tea bag, so let's get to that. What I use to make my tea bags, I can use a roll of tulle that is more like organza, that doesn't have the open holes like tulle does. There is an organza that we pick up in Hobby Lobby, and it's solid. It doesn't really have any holes, even though you can see through it. It doesn't have big holes for the sachet particles to come out. So that's what I look for, something that even though it's sheer like this, you can see right through it, you can smell it, but it doesn't have any open work or open holes the way tulle does. So these two I picked up at Hobby Lobby. This is the blue one that I was telling you about, and then here's the purple one that I told you about. And it did come, I think it even comes in pink, but these are the only two colors that I picked up. And you're not going to find this in rolls, because these come in a bolt of fabric. So wherever the fabric I'm sorry, wherever the fabric is, that's where you're going to find these. That's where you're going to find these. And I think you're allowed to buy as little as a quarter of a yard, and I think that's what I did. So today we're going to work with the blue. And let me move this purple aside. And I really, to be quite honest, I don't measure when I make these. I kind of just cut a piece out, and that's all I do. Let me turn it this way. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut a piece out. Let me get my longer scissors, because when I'm cutting a bigger piece, I like to use the longer ones. Okay, here's the end. So I'm just going to cut a little piece, and if you want, I'll measure it for you. For those of you who really have trouble with this, but really there's no right or wrong as far as I'm concerned. So here's the little piece that I cut out, and it doesn't even have to be perfect because I trim it back up. Let me grab my ruler so I can measure that for you. And this piece measures, it's only about, I'm going to say about 5.5 inches long, and it is about 5.25 wide, but I think I'm going to trim it down some on the side. So let's say, I'll tell you real quick if I'm going to or not. Yeah, because I only want it to be about 2 inches wide. So if you cut a piece that's about 4.5 inches, that should be about right. So all I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm not even going to measure. I'm just going to trim a piece off of this one. I'm just going to trim a piece so that way, and now it measures, yeah, about 4.5 inches wide. So it's about a 5.5 by 4.5, guys. So I like to use my bone folder because the one I have is made like for a bookmaker, and it's made out of like Teflon and nothing sticks to it. But you can use like a piece of the silicone or the mat that Tim Holtz makes for you to craft with, the craft colored one, the non-stick one. You can use a little strip of that, or you can use some kind of silicone mat. Just cut off a little strip, and if you cut it off about 2 inches wide, that would give you a perfect measurement. So when you would fold it over, you would fold it over perfect, and they would be consistent in size. So I'm going to get started with mine. And all I do is put my bone folder in the middle. I fold over one side, and then I fold over the other. Kind of just line them up, make sure they're straight somewhat. And then I'll just lift up this little area. Now, one thing I do recommend, and what did I do with it? I thought I brought it over here. Hold on one second. I had my little rubber, here it is, it's on the floor. I knew I had brought it over here. I have these little rubber finger puppets, that's what I'm going to call them, and they're made out of silicone. They're made by Mod Podge, and they're to protect your hands when you're working with something hot. So they're actually longer, and I cut mine off because I only needed it to be on the tip. Like I didn't need it to go any further up on my finger. And because I have fat hands, you know, it's uncomfortable. So I cut mine off. Anyway, I close this up, more or less trying to keep it straight. So there it is, folded in half, overlapping. It overlaps. And all I do is lift this little area up, and I just add a line of glue all the way to the bottom. And then I just fold it back over and just kind of dab it with my finger, make sure it's stuck. And then I'm going to do, I hope that I'm in frame, I'm going to do the rest. And I will go make sure there are no open holes all the way to the top, to the end, and do the same thing. Like pretty much this is half the work. And that should be cool enough already. And that's the only thing I use that little rubber thing for. So because you're going to be using something that's non-stick in the middle, for example, mine stuck for a little bit, but as soon as it cools down, I'm able to peel it right off. And if you use a silicone mat, you'll be able to do, or that Tim Holtz craft non-stick pad, you'll be able to do this. And the glue, I just kind of scrape it off because it comes right off, the adhesive that's stuck on here. So I don't have any trouble. That's all I need that for. Now I can move that aside. Now the side where I have my seam, I hold that facing up. That's to the top. And the good side is in. So I'm going to fold it over, but I'm going to make sure that the good side is on the inside because we're going to flip it back around. So I'm going to fold it in half, and then I'm just going to like finger crease it. Make sure it's straight. You want it to be as straight as possible, and just kind of finger crease it. So I'm going to open it up, and you can see the crease right there where I didn't fold it mine. And I'm just going to add a little strip of glue all the way across. And then I'm going to fold it back in half. I'm going to glue it onto itself. The good side is on the inside. The seam is right here on the outside. And I'm just kind of pinch it so it'll glue. And now I'm going to take it and I'm going to flip it back. I'm going to flip it back. And here is our tea bag just about done. So that's how I make these little tea bags. Now, I'm going to flip it back around and I'm going to add the scents to it. The sachet, and I found mine at it was either a Ross or a Marshall's, and I didn't know what the content looked on the inside. It just happened that the ones I bought, when I opened them up to put the scents in, they were like little gold nuggets. Like that was just a fluke. So let's open up the little pockets. Make sure your little pouches are open. See, you can see the opening, and I add a little bit to the front and a little bit to the back. And these aren't very strong anymore because I've had them, I bought them last year, but they still have a very pleasant scent. So now I'm going to close it up. See, there's the front and there's the back. So either side could be front or back because it looks beautiful on both sides. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to glue the top closed. And because this is so sheer, the glue actually goes through to the front and back. So I only add a little bit of glue to one section, and then I just kind of pinch it with my fingers to get it to glue shut, because like I said, it's so sheer that the glue comes through to the back side. So you only need to add it to one side. So there is my pouch. There's my pouch. So here is almost the whole thing done. And I like to fold this onto itself because I like it to look like a real tea bag the way they're folded at the bottom. Okay, for our next step, you're going to need your punch, and you're going to need a little strip of paper that's 2 inches wide. It doesn't matter how long it is, because you can get several out of a 2-inch strip, but it does have to be 2 inches wide. So all I'm going to do to this is I'm going to fold it over. And you can measure if you want. You can do like 3/4 of an inch or even up to an inch, because you can trim it down. I'm just going to eyeball it and fold it over. I'm just going to eyeball it and fold a little strip over. And if you want, I'll give you measurements. Like I didn't even measure. So mine's about an inch and 1/8. That's all I folded over because I'm going to trim it. So then you're going to take your punch, and this has, you can make 3 different sizes. One of them is 1.5 inches, the other one is 2 inches, and then a 2.5 inches. So we're doing the 2-inch one. So this little strip is going to fit into that 2-inch mark. I'm going to turn it upside down because, can you see the paper there coming out? Now, if I slide it all the way to the back, I slid it too far. See how you can see the paper? I don't want it all the way to the back. I have to make sure that my paper is below this mark right here, this edge, because I want my paper to stay intact. So I'm going to slide it down some where I can't see. See how I can't see the paper extend over this? I don't want to be able to see it extend over this because I don't want it to cut it there. So I'm going to go ahead and punch it. And this is pretty thick paper, and it does the trick. So there's the top of my tab. And you can make them a little narrow or a little wide, but see what happens, because I didn't slide it all the way to the end. It didn't cut right here, and that's what I wanted it to do. So I'm going to close this up, and I'm going to trim off the long piece. And I just want to keep this little tab. That's all I want to keep. This is all I want, this little tab. And if I want it shorter, I can make it shorter. And this little tab is the one that we're going to glue here. Now, I feel like I want it to be shorter. And I feel like this is a little wonky, to be quite honest. Let me straighten it up. I kind of feel like it's a little wonky, and I want to straighten it up some. So I just added glue right there to the little side, and that looks better. So I don't want this to be this long, so I'm going to go ahead and trim it some more. And I'm just going to take my scissors and trim it. I'm not going to measure. And let's see. Yeah, that's better. And actually, I think I'm going to trim it a little bit more. The only thing you don't want to do is get too close to this hole, because you want to glue your fabric right onto this little strip. But I want to get just a little closer. Okay, there it is. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to add glue to my fabric. I'm going to add glue to the back of the fabric. I'm going to pick up my tab, and I'm going to line it up right under the hole. I don't want it to go past the hole on the tab. And then I'm going to add some more hot glue, and I'm going to close it up. So I'm going to be really quick, because hot glue, you know, cools down really quick. And there it is, guys. There is my tea bag. How cute is that? And I'm not going to decorate it, because I just wanted to show you the process and how I did it. And I hope that I was in frame, because the way I have my phone, I can't look into my phone to see what you're seeing. I kind of just have to try and stay in the middle, because I'm really short, so I can't see you know, above my phone. So now all I'm going to do, if you want to, you can actually add a grommet to it. So I'm going to add one to mine. Oh, I didn't get my tool. And I actually need to get, I need to get some of these eyelets in different colors, because I'm very limited to what I have now. But you can add an eyelet to it. I want this to be my front, so I'm going to add it here and just smash it down with my tool. And I will share with you what it looks like. There it is. There is my tea bag. And if you have any of the fabric sticking out right here, like I can see a little bit right here, it's either that or glue. I just snip it off. It might be glue. It might be the hot glue seeped out. So there's a little piece of fabric. Let me move this. But look at how nice that little tea bag is if you wanted to add. These are great for embellishments. These are also great for if you want to add a little scent into your swap. And the reason too why I like putting an eyelet in it, because this smells so good, kind of like a pineapple tropical scent, that people would confuse it for being a real tea bag, except for the shimmery. So, you know, once you start decorating it, they know it's just for decoration piece and for the scent. But look at how pretty they are. And they're very simple to make. And I really, really like this topper, the way of doing the topper this way, better than any other way. And this works, guys, with any tag punch. As long as you don't go above that line, you can fold it the way I did and don't go past the cutting line. And it can be any shape tag punch. And I'll look to see if I can find the one I have and post a link. If not, I'll put something else that I think might work with it. But don't get mad at me. Don't quote me. Like I said, if you don't go past the mark, you should be okay. Thanks for watching. I hope everyone has a great day. And I hope you like the, what do you call it? Hopefully the upgrade or the new way of making these things, because I think this is an improvement, or the new and improved tea sachet bag. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope everyone's having a great day, and God bless. Bye.